Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Rage Across New York, the Guru venue for Living World of Darkness. Tonight's scene opens up with a very, very, very angry Chases the Storm. He is pacing on the hill outside of his hut in the Umbra in his lupus form, trying, physically exerting will not to assume Hispo. Something has happened within the Sept. People have gotten sick, and because of this sickness, people have died. Maybe not directly because they were sick, but because panic and fear is a deadly combination. So, as he is pacing, as he is waiting for somebody to appear before him, whether willingly or brought to him in chains, Chases the Storm will sit down and he will howl. And the howl is beckoning the warder of the Sept of the Green, Teeth of Titanium, to his hut.
When is he coming?
I do not know.
After, let's say, like 10-15 minutes, Xavier will walk up to Chases the Storm's hut with Tori, which is sadly not here right now. He appears to be there willingly. There is no person being forcefully brought. And he is dressed completely in white gown instead of normal clothing. He walks up to Chases the Storm and Teeth and Titanium. He actually goes down on both of his knees in front of them and bows to them.
Teeth, who is in Hispo, is just staring at him. He's not saying anything. Completely unblinking.
Chases the Storm will pace around Xavier. A low growl coming from the base of his throat. I have heard something that you have chosen to do within the boundaries of this Sept.
I don't know what you have heard, Chases Ryan, but
You will not explain it to me until others are here to listen.
Yes.
A man who heard the howl will come, will not to chases, not to first he will not to water, then he will not to chase with the storm. He will give proper respect, and then he will look at Xavier, not to him. Then he will climb a tree. He will wait there.
You'll see Mikhail and Garrett both walk up. Both of them will give their respects to the water, to Chases. Then they'll stand back.
So I should have mentioned earlier, sorry to interrupt, that Katori will have come with Xavier. He will have genuinely not said anything. He will, if people speak to him, he will be unresponsive, as in not even blinking, but he walks up and he drops an object, a vial, at the feet of Chases the Storm. One that was put into his possession.
What does the vial hold in it?
It is in fact the plague vial thing. Apparently, it ended up in the hands of Katori.
Chases a storm will shudder for a moment. His form will melt, and he will assume his cloaked Hamid form, his staff bearing the resemblance of a raven, and he will pick up the vial. Who here is of the half moon?
That would be me.
And I.
I'm gonna say something before and he looks down at Xavier, gets to speak. As he holds the vial up. Anybody that has sense worm that wants to roll it, go ahead. Is anybody rolling for sense worm or no?
Don't have it.
Oh, god damn it. This. All right. After a moment, Chases a Storm will stop in front of the gathered Guru. You all have borne witness to a great amount of panic within the Sept over the last few days. We have lost 2 kinfolk, and several more have come down with a sickness. But it did not start with them. 2 days ago, our right master came to me. Or not our, sorry, not our right master. Edit that.
Master of challenges.
Our, our mistress of challenges came to me and told me that she was ill, that she had thought that this was just a normal sickness that would pass because of the strength of our bodies. That is not so. The sickness that was upon her originated from a bane. That sickness was then passed to kinfolk. Some of these kinfolk were thought to be Famari. And a few of the other cubs not present here panicked, thinking that we were beset by the worm. No. Xavier, as he looks at the Silent Strider, you will explain to me and all who are present why she named you responsible.
Xavier looks at chases the storm to see if it's actually okay for him to start talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, Xavier slowly gets back up to his feet and slowly starts shifting up to Glabro. When he does,
As you start shifting, Teeth will viciously snarl. And if you want me to roll, if you start shifting, Teeth will viciously snarl at you.
okay. If he does, he's not going to shift.
Pretty terrible roll, but yeah.
No, he gets. He's going to shift. So he slowly gets up. He pulls his arms inside the gown and lets the top part of the gown down with both of his arms. So he's bare-chested right now. And he slowly turns around to see to see who arrived, who's here. And after he sees who's around, he turns back to Chases and starts talking. Chases, Raya. It is I who has been named by because it was I who delivered this sickness upon her.
Chases the storm just glares at you.
Would you like to just say why you did this?
Oh, why? Why? Because a certain message had to be delivered.
A message that involves violating the hard blood of your mother, the desecration of the kinfolk. What message is so important?
There's
that
the point.
I'm not done talking. What message is so important that you would violate the very blood of our mother that we give our lives every day to protect? What message is so important that you felt the need to break the litany, to kill? Please, we all want to hear what your message is so important.
All right. This message was intended for one person and one person only. Not kinfolk. And OOC, is Victoria in the crowd right now?
Victoria's in the hut.
Hmm?
Victoria's in the hut.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if they bring her out, like, that's another thing, but unless she's specifically called, she's going to be in the hut.
Okay.
At the moment, she'll be kept in for everyone else's effective protection.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing.
Okay. So, that message was intended for one person and one person only.
And yet, we're burying our kinfolk.
Yes, we are.
Because you couldn't solve your grievances any other way. But the blood of the children, our future generations, now lie dead at your feet. Our mother has been exposed to taint because you couldn't control your message.
It was not I who could not control the message. I delivered it where I had to deliver it.
And it spread. Your ignorance. Your
did
idiocy.
Or
Killed
prosecutors.
You have no justification for what you've done. The blood of innocence is at your hand. Our mother's health, dying, is at your hand. You opened that door and you brought it in. You had issues with another guru, then you would seek out a half moon. You would settle this as we all settle our grievances with one another. You do not bring worm toxin into the Sept. You are no better than a black spiral. In fact, you are worse, for at least they believe, they acknowledge what they do. You're a coward who shed blood, all because you have some message.
Xavier just stops, turns to Olaf, looks at him.
Just to briefly interrupt, John, if you feel it's appropriate at any point, such as being compared to a black spiral, to roll rage, feel free to do so.
I think, yeah, like being compared to a black spiral would do that. But thankfully, nope. So, Xavier turns, looks at him. I would get everyone if they said I had no base in this, I had no reason. But you, Olaf, you damn well know the reason.
That
Olaf, is this true?
There is a reason we challenge. There's a reason We follow the customs and laws. You chose to ignore that to pursue your vendetta.
That I did.
Care to share?
He turns to Feet of Titanium. Goes, Feet of Titanium, Raya? Have you heard how I have received my deed name?
I am not interested in the Socratic method. Speak. Give your reasons.
I have been left to die by a Shadow Lord who was supposed to be my alpha at that point. And now, as he gestures to his chest, I carry the mark of it.
Where is this Shadow Lord that wronged you so?
He have left the Sept like the coward he is.
And as the coward you are, you took your anger out on someone else. And because so, there is death at your feet.
Coming Storm Raya, are you judge or prosecutor? There's one witness here. Perhaps we should let him speak.
Well, I'm waiting.
Well, I came here knowing that I will be facing death. I came here knowing after this talk, I will lay down my neck to die. And I came here accepting it. And like I said, I still carry the mark of that betrayal.
That betrayal is not here or there. It has no place among us because that person is no longer here.
Oh, wait for it. It is connected, wait for it. Every time I have to sit down to catch my breath, I feel pain in my chest. Every time I sleep at night, I can't even breathe right. And when Victoria came into the Sept, she said that she's here to fix all the things that Shadow Lord did. And for months, there has been nothing. Instead, for months, she has bullied the kinfolk and the Guru of the Sept. She almost, one can say, terrorized them. But no. There was no justice done. That your tribe mate did, Mikhail. And now, I do not hide what I did. I did it. But it was never meant to target kinfolk. And that is an interesting thing. Because I'm guessing here, Chases Raya, She might have told you about when she started to have this sickness. Am I right?
Chases the storm, crosses his arms in front of his chest. Aye, that is true. She ignored.
Check your private messages. Sorry, go ahead.
She ignored it because she thought it was just a basic sickness. She did not have the knowledge that we who deal with the spirits have.
Which is understandable. I get it completely. But there's one thing that I'm very suspicious of, if I may.
Speak. I am not a Philodox. I am leaving it up to them.
I have heard enough. You admitted to everyone here, openly, that your grievance is nothing more than hurt feelings over a tribe mate who is no longer here. You said you waited for Victoria, but did you ever go to her? You claim that she bullies and harasses kinfolk, but did you ever bring it up to the elders? Did you ever seek out a half-moon? Did you do any of this but sit on your ass and pout over a wounded pride instead of manning up and handling it the way it should have been? But no, you don't do that. That's not how a coward acts.
Judge.
I'm not done talking. Both of you shut up.
No, that was Teeth telling them to shut up.
Oh, okay.
If you want to tell Teeth to not talk, feel free.
No, I'm all right.
No, please do it. I want to see what happens.
But instead, like a coward, as a coward would, you sought out magic that wasn't meant to be used by you. You infected our sept. You killed kinfolk. You have no justification. You have no defense. There is nothing you can say. Your life is forfeit.
There is.
No, there isn't.
You're not the only Philodox here. Somebody says from the Mikhail's back.
By all
Let
means,
the others speak.
Let Olaf and Ren speak.
I want to hear the rest of this. I want to hear it until he's done talking. And then I'll render any further judgments necessary.
I'm also listening to Xavier.
Does Regabash want to Regabash before I start talking?
No, at this point, Sina is still nicely laying on the ground, but while she's laying on the ground, she's actually writing a note, just memorizing something for herself.
So Xavier nods and continues. But that's the part where you are wrong. I did went to see Victoria. I did talk to Victoria. And I waited. I waited for her to say something. Really. For the entire talk. I waited for her to say something. But alas, nothing. And the other thing, as Chase's Roya said here, it has been going on for a while. Because I know. So, all this time, after all this time, the only people who get sick because of this are kinfolk. Was she seeing only the kinfolk all this time? Was there no Garou interaction she had in all this time? If she did, what are the sick Garou? Because clearly, if this is infectious, clearly it can infect Garou too. And also, the place she sleeps at is the Shadow Lord part of the Sept. And that part of the Sept is clearly filled with Shadow Lord kin. So, if she was seeing kin all this time, and only kin, I'm willing to bet that she also saw a lot of Shadow Lord kin. Then I ask all of you here, right now, where are the sick Shadow Lord kin? And we have 2 dead kin. That is correct. Why they have died? They died because 2 cubs have reacted without thinking this through, without going to den fodder or any other higher up in the Sept. And now, if we turn back a couple of months, not too long, and Kotori will back me up on this, I had a very, very similar sickness, if not worse. And I'm willing to bet that the members of Striders of Ice and Concrete, present here and right now, can tell about the consequences of that illness. First, I also wasn't aware what I had. At first, it was weak on me too. At first, I also thought that it was probably nothing. But as it got worse, as soon as it got worse, I seized all interaction with Garou and the kin of the Sept, right until the point Kotori here has found what that sickness was and cured it. Now, are you really telling me that a Cleath can show this much care about a sickness, and an Adrian of this nation can't?
Who's the Cleath you speak of?
I am, or I was, to be exact. So now, I do say that there's foul play involved in this. That there's foul play involved, and I have specifically been made the scapegoat of all these sick and dead kin.
So now you're saying you're innocent, when beforehand you said you were guilty.
There's a difference. I am guilty of poisoning Victoria with the sickness, but I had no hand the involvement of the kin in this thing. There is foul play involved in this.
May I speak? He
Do
looks
so.
at the warder and the chase of the storm. I did not ask permission from you.
You're an Athro boy.
He smiles to Chases. The Xavier had a pack once. I don't. See, I don't remember the name, John. What was the name of the pack?
It was
Knights.
it was the Knights of the Black Mane. It
Okay.
was
Knights
Black Unicorn.
of the Black Mane followed Black Unicorn, protector of the kin. Yes, what he does is something makes me very angry to him. But first, I would like to say that something that we all heard from the spirits of the Sept, through the darkness and shadow, through the death and thunder, the truth lies somewhere asunder. And I would like to also remind to all those here the names and the tribes of the kinfolk. The Evan Fianakin, which I'm reading the names now, I'm sorry. Ashley the Fianakin, Sammy the Silverfang, Alex the Stargazer, Alicia the Get, Danielle and Camille, from the Child of Gaia.
The other one was the Silverfang, bro.
Okay, Silverfang. He says them because he actually did
Mhm.
search them. And he says, I do not see any Shadow Lord kinfolk. With the spirit saying the true darkness and shadow, true death and thunder, the truth lies somewhere asunder, and him saying that Victoria, where Victoria sleeps, where a lot of people are, where a lot of Shadow Lord kin is there, I would recommend our Shadow Lords to question our dear Victoria as well. Not because that she might do what I fear she did, just to make sure before we give any punishments.
Well, while you sit there and so amply like to say no Shadow Lord kin was sick, there was no Red Talons who got sick. There was no Uctena who got sick. There was no Wendigo who got sick.
Wait, really?
No, there was not.
Oh.
Yes, really.
So why
No,
you're pointing fingers?
he's being sarcastic, actually. Oh, really?
Why you're using some poor excuse to what? Blame my kinfolk for being healthy, for harding, for surviving?
Mikhail, you're an idiot than I thought you were. I'm sorry. I am saying that we need to find the truth.
No, you're making excuses. That's what you're doing. The next time you call me an idiot,
Better stop talking right now.
or what?
Before I cut.
Please, raise your hands to me in front of your elders.
Enough.
You guys
I
see
will
Travis's
remind
eyes
you,
are turning red.
Son of Thunder, that there is no elder of unconquerable sun here. You call yourself, you are a half moon. Remember your litany.
We are but his equals, not his elders.
He is, however, your elder.
He nods.
Chases the Storm Raya. May I suggest that, based on the words of Xavier and Travis, we consider two separate crimes to have been committed and consider them separately? The poisoning of Victoria and the poisoning of the kinfolk?
Chases the Storm looks over at Teeth for a second. That is a decision for the Phyllodox here.
I say we bring out Victoria. She needs to be questioned as well.
And Teeth turns to Olaf.
One question, Reyes. What is the current state, given the worm taint that has been connected to this illness, of our cairn?
Durable.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
The defenses hold.
Olaf nods. He got the information he wanted. You just want to know if the camera's violated. You answered him.
Victoria will come out. Her hair is matted. She looks tired. Her eyes are kind of swollen. As it seems that the fever or whatever sickness that she underwent is definitely taking its toll on her body. And she looks weary. But when you look at her, there's still that defiance in her eyes that she's still fighting. But it's taking every ounce of her willpower to stand on her feet. She's tired. She will wait to be questioned.
You're muffled.
Yeah, we can barely hear you, dude.
Oh, Victoria will come out. She looks tired and worn. Her eyes are swollen. It looks as if she hasn't slept in quite some time. And she looks bad. She looks real bad. And it looks like she's using every ounce of her willpower to stay on her feet. And there's still that defiance in her eyes that she's still fighting. And she's awaiting what's coming next.
Ren glances at Teeth to see whether her suggestion fell on deaf ears.
Chases will look over at Ren. Your decision to have these be considered as two different crimes is not up to us. It is up to those of the half moon.
Ren tips her head back to bare her throat as an apology, and then glances at Mikhail and Olaf.
Victoria Raya, Honorable Half Moon of the Shadow Lord tribe, please describe to us your symptoms.
She starts coughing and goes into a bit of a coughing fit, as it looks as if she hasn't used her actual voice in some time. And feverish, as she starts describing the symptoms that she has, she doesn't leave out any details.
Okay, so one thing I have to ask. I know that Olaf dug into a lot of different things during this crisis, and one of them was the condition of the other kin. Do the symptoms that Victoria is describing now match the symptoms faced by kinfolk?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Second,
do you admit that you were exposed to kinfolk from various tribes?
Yes,
Did you know you were sick?
I assumed I had the flu.
And when these kinfolk came down with their illnesses, did you report or even bring it to attention that you may have contaminated these kinfolk?
I went directly to Chase's when I felt that within the first 3 days that something was wrong. Given Guru stamina and how we regenerate, the flu is nothing that we can't handle. It's usually gone within a day, maybe two.
hmm. Victoria Raya, do you associate with the kinfolk of many tribes?
It's part of my duty.
Hmm. Name to me, if you would, the examples of the tribes you are known to associate with in your duties.
Well, it's a little uncommon for Shadow Lords to seek me out, as it's kind of against what we are to ask other people for guidance and wisdom. It's not what we do. She looks at him knowingly. But other tribes, they come, they ask questions. One specific question was about how to deal with kinfolk and guru politics. How does it work? Some of these individuals were new, they didn't understand. So I explained to them the best I could. But also in my teachings, it's not the same for each person I talk to. Each person has a different learning curve. The same methods don't work with the same people. So in order for the lesson to be learned, sometimes different approaches are needed. So the lesson I'll give to a silver fan will be different from the lesson I'll give to a child of God, so on and so forth.
Sorry, as an out of character question, for
Mhm.
Truth of Gaia, do I have to roll that on everything said individually, or can I roll to activate it?
It's every single, I believe the way we're ruling it, Duncan and Rob, I think it's every statement.
Yeah, it's every individual dishonest statement.
Statement.
Every statement that you believe is dishonest, you
That you
roll.
believe is dishonest. You believe is dishonest. Yeah.
That being said, for that entire thing, I'm gonna roll me some P&E if you don't mind.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, thanks, Lupus Perception bonus.
Hmm.
Not bad.
She's not lying. Um,
Yes.
but those amount of successes, she's too sick to lie. That
Gotcha.
shit takes effort.
I gotta work towards my empathy for somehow.
Okay.
One of those Shadow Lord quality lies take time.
Quality lies take time, folks.
Indeed. Okay, cool. Thank you. So, Olaf considers her carefully.
What of the Pierre tribes? Do their kin come to you as well?
Some mostly out of curiosity. Some usually to see if I really am who I say I am. Others simply watch with mild curiosity.
Hmm. And in the time of your illness? How many kin came about when you first had symptoms?
Between both days, she'll split the number in half and like about half and half.
Hmm.
I really don't keep track of who comes to me, just as long as they make a point. As long as I remember who makes a point to come see me.
I see. Olaf
It's better
actually.
to
Sorry.
it's
I'm sorry.
it's better to correct someone if they earnestly seek out the knowledge than to correct them later. There's no harm in asking the question. There is harm in the ignorance that you didn't ask in the first place.
Hmm. And at this point, Olaf looks to Mikhail to give him a turn, since this was something Mikhail called for first, and he would like to give his fellow Foster and Philodox a swing at this.
First, I'd like to say I do believe there are two crimes that have been committed here.
All right.
The one committed by Xavier is already open. He's admitted to it.
All right.
But there is the crime of you, knowing
She's
you have been sick and exposed yourself to kinfolk. Did you know where this illness came from?
Initially, I had no idea what was going on. I
But
thought that I was simply just sick. In the night, I was awoken by someone messing around my my pace of rest. It smelled of Shadow Lord. Not Shadow Lord, excuse me, Silent Strider. And I thought that Xavier may have been there. I was pretty sure he'd been there, but I couldn't see anything. So it was just an assumption. Nothing wrong with other brothers and sisters and tribe mates and other Guru of the Nation coming by Shadow Lords. Nothing against that. For all I know, he could have just been cursing me while I slept.
Xavier, what do you say about this?
I confess to the crime I committed.
Was it at this time that she just described?
Oh, I'm sorry, you cut out, man. I couldn't hear you.
I said, was this at the time that she just described for us?
Could be not. But I did visit her.
Could you tell everyone here when you invoked upon her?
OOC, I don't. Anthony, is she talking about the night that Xavier did it?
Yes.
Okay, so you remember what day
Like,
exactly was?
yeah.
Okay, so we will
So like once
look
you
at
like hear
Mikhail.
the story, yeah, it'll like click in your head. Like yeah, they're talking about the same
Okay.
thing.
Okay. So he looks at Mikhail and goes, "Yes, it is."
Well, Olaf and Rand, what do you say to this?
Victoria will look up. and she will look to either Mikhail and Olaf, noticing that they're the reciting Philodox, and she'll ask for permission to speak.
Granted.
I believe I should be punished for what I did.
I agree.
Ignorance and knowing, ignorance and whether or not you were aware of what was happening is not an excuse. So I ask you, she turns to Olaf and Mikhail, for the Stone of Scorn.
The criminal doesn't get to decide what their punishment is.
I know. But I think I should get a scar for each handfolk that was harmed. I feel equally responsible. For all of you looking at her, please feel free to roll P and E. This is not a shadow look. This is not a shadow look.
I rolled a peony when she said.
Seems
Seems legit.
That's legit. How many did you get, Emmett? Not a damn thing. Okay.
I have one success.
Fair enough.
Before this, I rolled a perception empathy, but I forget to tell you. Actually, I was going to write in the chat when he said that I did not know that I was sick, and I just thought it was flu. I rolled perception empathy, and I had one success there, and now I have one success.
Okay, backing up on that part, she believes she's telling the truth. You get like an honesty in that. For this one, she's being, with one success, she's being absolutely 100% truthful. She truly feels bad.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony, just so you know, someone in our overflow got 6 successes.
Who got sick? Damn. Of course it was her. Anyway, so the one that feels the pain of the nation should be her fucking beat, man. Anyway, so with that many successes, there is a defiance, a proudness when she's talking, but when underneath that, you notice that most people have a outer layer that they don't like showing other people because they perceive it to be weak. With that many successes, you're seeing past that layer to like the actual person, not the guru that she's trying to portray. And you know that she truly means what she's saying from the bottom of her heart. That it's like you're getting a one-on-one with her, and you, in a very weird and intimate way. Much like the night before when she punished Wastinger.
Let me say this. When I first came to this Sept, I had no knowledge of the history, and I suffered a lot of scorn for the past transgressions of my fellow tribe mates. I have worked hard to rectify what was done in the name of Grandfather Thunder. I have led missions successfully, with no death in my hands. I have redeemed a fallen guru. And now I'm standing before another who shames my lineage, who is just as guilty as Xavier in the crimes they committed. I do not think you deserve something as simple as some scratches. If I have my way, I sentence you to death. You have shamed my tribe. You have endangered people. You have brought shame to the Sept. You have violated everything that a Shadow Lord stands for.
She looks at you, And she just simply nods and says, "I'm proud of you."
Is anybody looking at Travis? Travis is like, Sims legit. Like, what the fuck? I just yelled at this guy, but this guy fucking kills Victoria now. Like, he's like, well, shit.
She looks you directly in the eye, like unflinching. Like she's as if when you look at her, it's like she's made peace with her life. There's like no fear when you look at her.
So if no one objects to this, it will be me and you.
Coming Storm Raya, could you please clarify?
I'm sorry, what do you need?
Are you sentencing Victoria to a challenge? Or an execution?
I am calling for her death. And since I am the next ranking Shadow Lord, it should be by my hands. If the elders wish to step in, I won't interfere.
You call for her death for the accidental infection of several kinfolk?
I do not expect you to understand, for you are not a Shadow Lord. But among us, we do not tolerate ignorance. Anything done by us has a purpose. We do not engage in assumptions or accidents, and to willfully, even unwillfully, expose kinfolk to taint, not even on the outside, but within the sept itself. We endanger our mother. Now, as much anger as I have towards Xavier for what he did, I have twice as much towards her. Because as I said, when I came to the sept, there was much shame done in the name of my tribe. And I will not work as hard as I am to clean that up just to have it diminished by someone so carelessly acting as they did.
Embarrassing your tribe is not a breach of the litany.
No, but harming the kinfolk is. Harming the sept is. Suffering illnesses and expecting us to tend to it is.
For the other Philodox, please roll intelligence law if you have it. Because he may be muddling his own opinions with what's actually in the litany.
Yeah. While that roll's being happening, may Emmett ask a question? He'll probably raise his hand.
Go right ahead.
Chases a Storm will acknowledge that Emmett has risen her hand, and he will quietly nod, and as he nods, there will be a low growl meant to silence those talking.
For the sake of the Galliards that will be reciting the story in the future, Mikhail, may I please ask which tenant or tenets of the litany that you believe Victoria has broken in this case?
You may. The first one is respect those beneath you, all are of Gaia. That includes our kinfolk, especially our kinfolk. The second, do not suffer thy people to tend thy sickness. And the third, and the final, ye shall take no action that causes a cairn to be violated.
At that point, Emma will just nod and just recede back into the crowd, being satisfied with that answer.
Sin also has her hand raised, but she's still laying on the ground, so feel free to ignore it.
Chases won't. Chases will look. Speak, little one.
Mikhail Raya,
Yes,
what is the function of punishment?
when we punish, it is to instill a lesson for the crime that has been committed. It should always impart a lesson so that you can better yourself and never make that mistake again. But some crimes are so severe that they warrant death. And the most the strongest tenet that every tribe holds to is the protection of our mother through her lifeblood, through the Sept.
But
It is
what
not.
lesson is death?
It is the lesson that she brought death upon others.
Well, shouldn't she? If I, may I speak freely, Mikhail?
Speak within bounds, but yes.
I would say her life might be worthless in your eyes and as well as in anyone's eyes. However, it might not be worthless to those who have lost and those who mourn now. They might be the ones that her life truly belongs to now. Wouldn't it be more? If you say give a life for all the lives, then shouldn't her life be given to those who lost lives?
It will. By my judgment, if pulled through, when I take her life, it will be done in the names of those who died.
Is that their choice?
Are they here to
Or is
speak?
that up? Their tribes are.
I'm not asking for the tribe. I'm asking for them. Are they here to speak?
Sure, we can get them here.
Are you asking to summon ghosts?
No, I'm asking to summon the relatives of the deceased.
Again, I'm not talking about the relatives. I'm not talking about the tribe mates. I am talking about them.
You just
And
pointed
again,
out that I was right when I said that her life now belongs to the relatives of the deceased.
and they will be given to the deceased.
Her life will be giving them her death. That's not the same.
Maybe in your eyes, but in mine. And let's not forget, our Sept was violated. Now maybe you all take that lightly, maybe it doesn't matter to you. Maybe you don't care if this Sept is violated. But I do.
moment.
I hold that to the highest regard.
Do you accuse me?
Of
Shut
what?
Lord. Of not caring for the sanctity of this Sept.
Well, you tell me, what do you think of my punishment? Do you think it is a fair punishment? Or do you think I
am no law. I do not pass punishment. And it is not the way of my breed to overstep our bounds, but accuse me of not caring for the sanctity of the Sept again. And it will be the last words you speak. Do you understand?
Yes, Raya.
Good. Choose your words more carefully.
Yeah, what, Travis?
Just mute yourself, dude.
Sorry.
Queen Stormraya, I feel that you're suggesting an extremely dangerous precedent.
It is the punishment that we reserve for anyone who would violate a Sept.
There have been 2 deaths, but neither of them were at Victoria's hand. And
No.
the violation of the Sept has not been enough even to set off the wards. While I believe with you that litany is what holds our nation together, I feel that invoking execution in a matter of such unintentional consequence puts in danger the rest of our Garu, who might make similar mistakes. You're suggesting the execution of a warrior of high rank over the accidental infection of several kinfolk, some of whom she did not even have contact with. While I feel that she was careless and perhaps could have tended her own sickness fairly better. This precedent is unreasonable. And she glances at Olaf, because he's the third.
I was once given punishment for an act of ignorance. As you can see, I'm very much alive. That being said, these are serious crimes. Note here and now, I am making no accusation of a lack of care, either for this Sept, the cairn, or our mother Gaia. Anyone here can tell that we all take this with the severest of gravities. And he looks at Teeth when he says this. Just letting you know, not accusing anything. Victoria Raya is Adrian, leader of Garu. Should have known much better when her sickness drug on like this than to go straight to a cairn heart. An act supremely unbefitting of rank, but an act of ignorance.
And I do have. Oh, I'm sorry.
My legal opinion. And anyone looking at him can, they can tell the spirit of bear has touched this guru. It is the winter time. He seems very murmury, kind of at a slower pace than a guru of his rage should be, but still deeply contemplative. My opinion is to bring her back to a place of learning. Bring her back a step on the path and enact the satire right as she did.
I do have one piece of evidence I will bring forward, but I will need Olaf and I will need the highest ranking third here.
Chases a storm, unfolds his arms from across his chest, hands grasping the staff. He looks over at Mikhail. What piece of evidence would that be?
And Olaf, I need you to verify that my words I speak are true.
I am with you, brother.
Yesterday morning, I was visited by a raven spirit who carried a message, and I will bring it up real quick. The message was, the sickness was brought by one. It was meant for one, yet one spread it to others, knowing the consequences.
Got my truth earring on.
Can you repeat what you said, bro, Eric?
Yeah,
did you just say, like, I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't understand, so.
Can you hear me now? Is it all right?
Yeah, it's cool, bro, it's cool.
Okay. The sickness was brought by one and was meant for one, yet one spread it to others, knowing the consequences.
Holy shit. Travis jumps from the tree, goes near the philodoxes, and waits.
I would like you all to pay attention to that last line, knowing the consequences.
I know I just yelled at you, but that was what I meant, Mikhail. And he looks at the other Philodoxes and the other people.
Olaf, was my words true?
I got with the truth hearing active, in case you want to roll like manip subterfuge or something like that. I got 2 successes. So what's the line?
Nope, he is honest as honest can be.
Awesome.
If anybody doubts him, we can always summon the spirit and ask him.
That's why I asked Chases.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
Mikhail speaks true.
Right. Coming storm. Name the spirit you wish summoned here.
Max only called it a raven spirit, but we can just say, I don't know, fuck, Nightwind. Nightwind and the raven spirit.
I can dig Nightwind out of character.
Right. Okay. Chases a storm will retreat back to his hut. When he comes out again, he is no longer holding the bottle. And he is again in his lupus form. Chases a storm. Begins to howl. But the howl turns into the sound of the wind as he begins to glow slightly from within. Anybody that wants to roll Perception Primal Urge can go ahead and do so. Okay. Is anybody else rolling Perception Primal Urge?
3 successes.
Okay.
Once you took it's only 9.
Fuck you. Tree.
Alright. Okay. Anybody that got 2 or more successes will know that Jesus' Storm is not calling to the spirit with a ritual. He is not spending the time. He is instead calling it by the sheer strength of his connection to the Umbra, his gnosis. He got 3 successes. Actually, more. He got 5 successes. Okay. Almost immediately after Chases the Storm begins to howl, the sound of wings can be heard in the clearing upon the hill. That flapping is then followed by the caw of a raven who flutters down and lands on the ground in between Mikhail and Chases. It looks around. It looks happy to be here. Chases the Storm will then bend his nose down, and from the tip of his nose, a point of gnosis will manifest, and the raven spirit will gobble it right up. He will then look over at Mikhail and Olaf. And Ren. But Ren is not here. Do either of you know how to communicate with the spirits?
I do, Raya.
I do, Raya. In fact, Chases would know exactly how Olaf came by that.
I wanted you to say it out loud.
Oh, he did shortly before I was being me. Sorry, buddy.
No worries. Right. So ask your questions, and I will provide translation for everyone else here. ST switching over to Raven mode. Raven, then understanding Chases the Storm, will glance his head over, and he'll look at Mikhail and then Olaf.
Spirit friend, did you not come visit me yesterday morning with a message?
Did I? Who are you?
I am Mikhail Petrak, Shadow Lord Half Moon.
And you would be known to me as... Ah, yes! Coming Snow. What can I do for you?
The message you brought me yesterday. Would you repeat it for everybody?
The message, the message, the message, the message. I carry many messages. Wait. Yes. The sickness was brought by one. It was meant for one. And yet it was spread by one, knowing the consequences.
Who was this one honorable spirit?
I was not told that.
Olaf nods.
There's a spirit from the Old's brood that you can't lie. It looks deep inside of you. Chases of the Storm and Teeth of Titanium and Olaf would know that's how we found the traitor to the Sept. Xavier or Victoria, one of them are lying. The spirit says what you guys heard. If the Philodox deem it necessary, Chase of the Storm can resummon the spirit, which, oh, see, I forget, but I have been told several times that it's from the Owl's breed, and it was the finding about the lies, the spirit, to, of course, if they deem it necessary.
One thing first, Raya, if you would.
Of course, please. Continue your judgment.
He looks to the spirit.
Honorable spirit, who gave you the message?
I'm sorry, Olaf, what did you ask?
He asked the spirit who gave it the message.
Let me think for the moment. I will tell you. I would be happy to tell you.
Sir?
However, you were not the one that called me. To know a secret, one must trade a secret. What secret will you trade?
And Olaf considers this. Considers what might be considered a secret. And a secret from whom, that kind of thing.
Does it have to be you who gives the secret, Olaf?
He asked the question.
Not
You did not ask the question. He asked the question.
If you want, Olaf, I can give a secret.
No. Won't work. Has to be a secret from his lips.
You know.
Very well then. A secret against my pride, if you would.
And the raven will flutter up to your shoulder. I will allow, as the ST, anybody that wants to listen in on Olaf telling his secret.
No.
Roll perception alertness.
Shadow Lord, I have to.
Alright, go for it, dude. In the meantime, between Olaf and his bird friend. Nice.
When I visited the lands of the dead, Shadowland, many, many times, something dark assailed me, knew my ways, knew my shame. And yet, I presented as one who stood firm, as the Fenrir should. But once, near the end of the journey, against the iron that I am supposed to be, it spoke and actually managed to pain me.
And he looks very begrudging about this. Like, he's not happy that he's telling a bird spirit about the time that his shadow soul made him feel bad about himself. This is very much against Fenrir pride. Yeah.
Can I ask, can we roll perception to notice if anybody actively listening Ola?
Basically, you're just simply standing around and keeping your ears open.
Hold on.
That's very, very subtle.
Can
Hold
I
on.
get the answer from the ST? Thank you. I will one day.
You'll need 4 successes. Or more. Amacha?
So,
You need.
I need 4 successes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't
No
realize
worries.
I'm talking. I thought that you were talking with someone else. I'm really sorry.
No,
I don't have only
don't
one
worry.
success, so it's fine.
Hmm?
I have only one, so I don't see anybody.
Okay.
What's happening?
Okay. So, Olaf finishes telling the raven a secret. The raven looks at Olaf. And if a spirit could smile, if a raven could smile, you don't even need to roll perception and empathy to realize you just made this raven spirit's day. He hops down. He looks at everybody gathered. And he looks at Victoria. And then he looks back at Mikhail and Olaf. Well, the one who gave me the secret is one who listens to secrets. One who knows many, many things, who has heard many things and has carried many secrets himself. Tell me, have those of you around here noticed that the temperature is slowly dropping? Slowly but surely, winter is coming. And so the north wind whispered in my ear what he saw.
Can I make the assumption of this? Not the assumption actually, because that person told me. Is it Aaron? Like, is it in a role to understand that it's Aaron?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I will just assume, like, oh, sure.
The raven kind of looks around and goes, "Do you need me?"
And Olaf actually looks at Mikhail for this one. While Olaf got what he wanted, well, he is one of 2 foster and Philodoxus sitting here.
No, Spirit. I thank you for what you've done.
Well, chases the storm, looks at the spirit, looks at the two of you. As this raven has performed his duties, I think it would be befitting of both of you to pay him for coming so fast.
I will feed him, and I will give him a secret if he wishes.
Since Olaf already gave him a secret, one that apparently made his day, Olaf gives the spirit 1 point of gnosis. Let's see here. I imagine Xavier is still there.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. So during all this hubbub, Xavier's been there. And Olaf finally looks at him. He seems perhaps reluctant to continue this trial in the presence of the Raven Spirit, but he paid the Spirit. I imagine the Spirit's business with him is rather done. Xavier. Brother of my pack. What did you do? What have you done? Rhetorical, for you've spoken it freely. And on an OC note, because the player has a brain fart every now and again, did Xavier openly admit to summoning like a disease bane?
I think he said he hexed.
Hexed, okay.
Xavier has openly admitted that he has hexed / cursed Victoria.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying before I said something silly. You speak of hexes, of curses. So speak to us all. What in the exact you did for this disease has been seen to carry a wormish taint.
I have not done anything for this disease to carry any kind of wormish taint.
Man, making me peony you.
Okay.
I got 1 success.
No, he's telling the truth.
Okay, cool. Or at least the truth is he sees it. He then looks to Chases the Storm. Raya. Victoria Raya. She came to you for her treatment, did she not? For help?
Aye.
And did you investigate the nature of her disease?
Aye.
Will you please tell us all what you found?
The nature of Victoria's sickness. Comes from a bane spirit, a bane of disease. No, I have a cure for this disease. Oh, some of its ingredients are difficult and dangerous to get. Victoria is on the road to being cured. She has one more day before the cure takes its full effects.
Olaf seems satisfied, at least concerning some of the charges that have been leveled, and looks back to Xavier. And what say you of this?
Of what, Olaf?
You cast a hex. I can tell by looking at you that, at least to your knowledge, you don't seem to have thought this was a consequence, and yet the right master himself finds a bane.
I never did anything for this hex to include any kind of worm. Any kind of worm. And with my knowledge, if there was a bane in something that I did, I would have not done it.
And yet here we are. And Olaf doesn't look very happy.
I did what I did. I accept full responsibility.
It is very obvious from the silence and the way that Olaf has seemed to have been leapfrogging this between the two presiding judges that he is tagging in Mikhail for the moment, much as he has this entire trial.
I don't know what else needs to be said. I think everything that needed to be said is out in the open. I think the only matter left at hand is punishment.
And I'm of a mind to agree.
I will point out just a minor detail. Though your opinions and your litigation are valid And I called you here for exactly that. There is one above you that needs to hear the verdict and the reason behind your judgment. And that is the Truth Caller, the eldest Philodox in the Sept. So, if you all deem punishment necessary for both or either or just one, they will be imprisoned. And you will make your cases to Morning Kill. Am I understood?
Yes, Raya. And it looks like he means that. Standard procedure.
Yes, Raya.
Any actions taken against those who are imprisoned for this deed will be guilty of a breach in the litany. That I can command.
Yep, you're getting no contest off of Olaf. Maybe he was headed in this direction to begin with, and you just beat him to the punch, or maybe it really is just kind of standard procedure and he's being reminded of that. But either way, he looks like he's right on with you.
So, Philodoxes, what is your verdict?
Guilty. Both parties.
Guilty, both parties.
Out of character, can somebody contact Ren
I got you home, Slice.
so that
She's
her...
offline.
Damn it. Well, we have to.
I may be able to work some special magic if you give me just a moment.
Okay.
Bob cast repeatedly ping on Facebook. It wasn't very effective.
All right. Chases a storm will look over at Teeth. The die has been cast.
Yes. He will look to Travis and the convenient of the two Philodoxes. Take them both to the cells. The Truth Catcher will deal with them
As you have ordered. Order. He will look at Xavier. Pardon. He will look at Mikhail and Olaf. He will not, let's get on with it kind of look.
Chases a storm will then catch both Mikhail and Olaf's eyes. Remember, you both and Ren are required to speak to Morning Kill. Not only state your cases, but your recommendations for punishment.
Olaf nods.
Get these two away from my hut.
Olaf complies.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So Travis doesn't touch Victoria or Xavier because I don't want to get sick. He's just gonna be like gonna move his head. Like Xavier can understand, he's not being rude to him. He's being rude to Victoria. Oh no, actually, he's not being rude to nobody. And he slowly will walk with, Mikhail, Xavier, Victoria, and Olaf. And he will say on the road, Mikhail, we're not really. We don't have, matching personalities. But I'm sorry for yelling. I just don't. I think you were doing your job.
No apologies needed. Times like this can bring out the fire inside of us. We all were starting to lose our heads.
May I ask one question?
You may.
Why didn't you bring the evidence before?
We
You
needed
wanted to.
Oh,
You wanted to Xavier to admit.
we need to question the people first to get them to admit as much as possible. The evidence should be secondary.
He knows. He's not gonna ask. He's not gonna say you should be doing like this because he's not a fucking fanatic. So. And he looks really competent in Travis's eyes. So it's not like he didn't want to. He wanted to stab him, but he just approves him at the moment. And he gives a nod to Olaf about you did a good job.
Olaf nods back, but Olaf is pretty mum about everything the whole way there. In fact, if the others let him, Olaf kind of lingers by Victoria's cell once, depending on how separate she is from Xavier. And he looks at her. He is waiting for it to be more or less just them, depending on who's spaced where.
She'll look at you. Her eyes are kind of soft, a little glazed. What?
I know what you did. Thank you. And then he just walks off.
She smiles.
Thank you. Wow.
She smiles, and it's like still probably the first genuine smile she's given in a while. And she'll call back to Olaf. There's a secret spot in the Sept, and she'll give you the location. I want you, if things go the way I think they're going to go, I need you to go deliver this to someone for me.
He's rather curious at this point.
She's gonna leave it kind of vague at that point, but if you press it, she'll tell you.
At the moment, he is not going to press it.
Mm-hmm.
He is a child of Uktena who just received a secret. Lucky day, lucky day.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he knows of this, he's giving that to himself.
Mm-hmm. Victoria will sit back in the cold, dank prison cell and smile and chuckle. I've done my job. They've grown up. She'll start laughing to herself.
Exit stage left Olaf.
Will it be the moment we end our dear scene? Or are we gonna go full hand?
I don't know. I'm done.
I think
I'm done as well.
If no one else has any extra actions they want to do, Katie, I will tell you in scene that if you and Cinna perform that thing that you wanted to do and want to do a scene about it, there'll be benefits. Okay?
Just gonna tie you up for the rest of the night. It'll be cool.
Mm.
Good Fiona and bad Fiona. Good Fiona is of course mad because she's doing shit, so.
Alright, so in case anyone else has anything that they would like to do, this is a perfect place to end our scene. And we end our scene
I think it will end.
as the moon rises over the Sept of the Green, witnessing judgment rendered. The final results are to come, and we hope you will all join us again when that happens. So, we thank you players for playing. We thank you watchers for watching. This has been another scene for the living world of darkness. Rage across New York, the Guru venue. Please, wherever you are, have a good evening and a good night.